Okay, so I will move that we come out of, or closed at 7:18. There's no opposition, we will consider that adopted. And just for anybody who may be watching, we did have some tech issues. So just to give a brief summary of what has been happening, we called our meeting to order at 5:42. At 5:43, we went into closed session to review external committees in accordance with the Access to Information Act, Section 20, Disclosure Harmful to Personal Privacy, and Section 29, Advice from Officials. Nothing substantial was discussed in closed, but now at this time at 7:19, we are now back in open. And at this point, we will continue down our agenda. We are at number 5, and so we will carry on. Okay, so requests for decision. We have 5.1. Very first up, we have our deputy mayor appointment for the upcoming year. This is required under section 7.4 of the procedural bylaw, so I will make that motion that Councillor Potry be appointed to the office of deputy mayor for the 2025-2026 term. Is there any discussion on this motion? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Congratulations, and we will take a second to administer the oath. So you will listen right now, and I just read this off, and then we'll do this then.
I, Jesse Potry, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of Deputy Mayor for the town of Coalhurst.
Awesome, okay, thank you so much. We will now move on to 5.2, council signing authority. So, go.
I move that the signing authorities of the town of Coalhurst are A, Mayor Florence in her absence, Deputy Mayor Potry, or in the Deputy Mayor's absence, Councillor Slingsby, and B, the Chief Administrative Officer, or in their absence, the Director of Corporate Services.
Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, next up we have 5.3, external board and committee appointments.
I move that the following external board and committee appointments be made for the 2025-2026 term. A, Chinook Intermunicipal Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, Councillor Preet. B, Green Acres Foundation, Mayor Florence. C, Old Man River Regional Services Commission, Councillor Slingsby. D, Community Futures Lethbridge Region, Councillor Preet. E, Southborough Regional Initiative, Councillor Slingsby. F, Barons Eureka Warner FCSS Board, Councillor Harrison. G, Chinook Arch Regional Library System, Councillor Harrison. H, Regional Local Assessment Review Board, Deputy Mayor Potry. I, Regional Composite Assessment Review Board, Deputy Mayor Potry. J, Old Man Watershed Council, Councillor Harrison. K, Mayors Reeves of Southern Alberta, Mayor Florence. L, Highway 3 Twinning Development Association, Deputy Mayor Potry. M, Intermunicipal Committee with Lethbridge County IDP, Mayor Florence and Councillor Preet with Deputy Mayor Potry as the alternate. N, Regional Emergency Management Committee, Councillor Slingsby and Deputy Mayor Potry as the alternate. Other committee appointments. A, MSDA, Deputy Mayor Potry and Councillor Harrison, and Stan Reynolds as the member at large.
Excellent work. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, and you did such a good job of saying it, I will not restate your motion, but we will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Next up, we have 5.4, the 2026 Council and Committee Meeting Calendar.
I'll take that.
Pardon? Oh yes, and with that, we would invite, invite the CAO to just give a brief introduction on this discussion.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Florence. So we have presented a proposed calendar for the 2026 year. This is a suggestion based off of the outlook of what council and this administration would like to achieve based off of our workload, but also council looking to hear about council's priorities as well on this calendar. So what we are proposing is that council meet on the first Tuesday of every month, followed by, it's the other way around. It's committee of the whole. Yeah, committee of the whole on the first Tuesday of every month. And then a council meeting on the third Tuesday. The MSDA meetings will fall on those same days as it stands right now. And what this does is it allows some time as well for council and administration to discuss topics thoroughly at a committee of the whole meeting, and also move through the council decision-making process as well within the same month. So this is a little bit of a change from what the town of Coalhurst is used to, but we're looking to help support council in their decision-making and improve efficiencies at the town office.
Awesome, thank you so much. Was there any questions for the CAO? If not, I will invite a motion. Yes, go ahead.
I move that the dates, times, and place, including through electronic meetings of all regular meetings of council and committee meetings in 2026 be held as set out in section 7 of the council procedure bylaw 465-25 as per the calendar presented at the November 3rd, 2025 organizational meeting.
Okay. Any discussion on this motion? With that, I will call the question. All those in favor of, yep. The motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, and okay, I will move that the 2025 council meeting schedule be amended to as follows. Committee of the Whole on November 25th from 6 p.m. to 5:30. Cancel the Committee of the Whole meeting on December 9th. That the regular meeting of council be moved from December 2nd to December 9th, and to cancel the regular meeting of council on December 16th. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, we will now move on to 5.5, which is the 2026 conference attendance. Each year we confirm who and if any will attend these key conferences, FCM, Alberta municipalities, and possibly RME. As explained, this is part of our policy to discuss this and to figure out what is happening with each conference. We just previously on the proposed meeting calendar schedule needed to discuss minor stays. Do we go back to that, or sorry? Can I just pause in for procedure? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
Yeah. On the proposed calendar, there are some suggested dates as well for the town's miners' days.
Yes.
The
Yes.
annual celebration. So I just wanted to invite council into that conversation to discuss what is suitable for the town.
Great, thank you for that. And thank you to for all of you for being patient during our organizational meeting, and to anybody who is watching for the grace for that. So we need to discuss minor stays and its placement in our calendar. So does anybody care to sponsor a motion for that?
So this would be a motion to amend the original motion? If we decided we didn't like, if we wanted to move the event, like in the calendar that we just approved.
Yes, because we did just approve that calendar. And again, I kind of moved through it too quickly before talking about minor stays. So right now it is scheduled for the second week of August. And as it stands, that does conflict with the town of Colville and their Summerfest date. with that, we want to be good neighbors, we want to be able to attend their event, we want them to be able to attend our event. So I would propose a different date. And if anybody's comfortable with that, I would propose the 24th and 25th of July,
And 26th there?
and 26th. To be held that weekend. It is currently in the calendar as the second weekend of August. Okay, so again, the motion is that, yeah? That Miners' Days for 2026 be held from July 24th to 26th, 2025. And at this time, I guess I would just love to briefly hear from each of you on this. If we could just go around the room, we'll start with you, Councillor Preet.
I think the history of having the date back in the second week of August is appealing to a lot of community members, but I think having it the previous few years now, the 4 years I think we've had it in July, lends back to kind of a new tradition that we've started, and I would hate to see us compete with the big Coalhurst parades and a few things. We need to get our parade so that we get as much as we can. Having said that, I know we might be conflicting with a few other smaller communities, so we just got to be cautious and see how we can work with them to make it the best for both of them.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. Councillor Harrison?
I agree with Councillor Preet. I think that it seems like there's probably no weekend where we're not going to be sharing a weekend with another community. And so, but Coaldale, we know, is a significant sized event. So I think that looking at a July date and would allow us to maybe work with whatever community or communities might fall on the same weekend and see if there's ways that we can kind of work together or something, but would have less impacts.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Butcher?
Yeah, it's a challenging puzzle to figure out, I think, which community we want to. If we had it in June, maybe we would. I feel like that's too early for a summer parade, though. I was wondering, though, if it might be better to consider the fourth week of August potentially. It would coincide with potentially Wolf Days, but they have their parade not on the weekend. And as far as attending festivities, people could do that on other days for Wolf Days. So we have had that in the past when we had it late in August, and it didn't seem to impact the attendance at the party in the park. I know administration has suggested that having two large events with Canada Day and Minor Days close together, it was a challenge to orchestrate. So I'm wondering if end of August would be preferable. So I move to amend this motion to from July 24th, 26th to August, because we have 5 weekends in August this year, it's a bit unusual. But August, I wouldn't want to conflict with Pitcher Buttes Jamboree's dates, which I understand is the 3rd weekend in August, so that would be the 14th, 15th, so I'm moving that and we would do it on the 21st, 22nd of August, which would be the 4th weekend, and we actually have 5 weekends in August this year, so. Because the way it lands with the 1st being on Saturday, so.
Okay. So Councillor Coudray has moved that Miners' Days for 2026 be amended to state August 21st to 22nd, 2025. So would you like to speak to your amendment?
I believe I did.
Okay.
Mostly, yeah, so I think that might be more for there.
Okay. Would anybody else like to speak to this amendment?
I would.
Go ahead, Councillor Harrison.
I believe that that's the same weekend also as Tabor Corn Fest. So we you would actually be competing against Tabor, and what days. So I just have concerns that it's maybe more, there's more going on than we're aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Did- Yeah, sorry.
It's not my turn, it's not my turn, sorry.
Well, sorry, did anybody else want to speak to this for first round discussion? Any councillor? Go ahead,
You
councillor
know,
Simpson.
I'll just talk to this in the sense that I feel like it's, as much as, you know, maybe perhaps locally in our town, there's a huge desire for having this in August, whether it's our volunteers in town who have more availability. But when we start competing with multiple municipalities on a date, it doesn't make that August date sound like it's the best fit for us.
Okay, was there any other, thank you. No, okay, go ahead, councillor Butcher.
I know some of these dates are continually shifting, but I believe the July 24th, 26th was competing with McGrath and potentially Nobleford. But I'm not sure because they haven't set their dates yet, but historically that's my understanding is that the July 24th was competing with those two small towns. Tabor is further away from Coalhurst, it's past Coalhurst. I don't know if we would get the same vendors, the same parade attendance for that event. And again, what days, as far as the parade portion is concerned, at least they don't have it on the weekend. So I do appreciate that though. We're flipping with somebody somewhere. I'm just trying, that's where my head is at, I guess, the dates.
Yeah, thank you. For myself, I guess, I think that, again, it's very disappointing for it not to be on that annual known August weekend. However, Coalhurst has shifted their event onto that, and theirs is already very written in stone. I do feel that we have some flexibility, specifically with Nobleford, in order for us to be able to set this date and then to encourage them to work around it. I know that they've expressed, in conversations that I've had with council members out there, that they've expressed a desire to work with our community in order to make sure that our dates don't end up on the same date. And then I guess you have a valid point about McGrath, and I would just say to that, again, that's where do we draw the line, right? There doesn't seem to be as much crossover between McGrath as there does between communities like Nobleford and Coalville, in my opinion. Would anybody else like to speak to this? Okay. Otherwise, Councillor Couture, would you like to close it all?
No, I'm
Okay, so the amendment again is that, that the motion on the floor be amended to state that minor stays will be held on August 21st to 2022, 2026. Ooh, that was a tongue teaser. Okay, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is defeated. Okay, so we will now go back to the original motion that minor stays for 2026 be held from July 24th to 26th, 2026. And at this time, I'll just ask if there's any further discussion on this. Go ahead, Councillor Quinn.
I think that this is a great weekend, not competing with the major activities going on in Southern Alberta, just so that we can have maybe more volunteers available so that they're not taking their families away and doing different things, especially getting close to the start of school again, so that's it.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this for anybody? Great, okay, so I make that motion, and again, for myself, we've been discussing this a little bit, but I would not like to see it move to the end of August. I think that, you know, we're running into scheduling issues with much larger cities that communities from all around go to Lethbridge and Tabor, and so I think that we're doing the very best we can with the date being proposed, and hopefully that we can get good attendance and we can attend in response to other people's community parades. Okay, so again, that motion is that minor stays for 2026 be held from July 24th to 26th, 2026. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. It was a good debate though. Okay. Okay. And I apologize, and about jumping ahead there, to 5.5 for the conferences. So now we are back to that. So we're back at our conferences, and again, it's just, it's an opportunity to get involved, and I will turn it over to our CAO.
Thank you, Mayor Florence. So there are typically 2 up to 3 conferences that council members are invited to attend. The first is our federal conference. We are a member of the FCM, which is Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And they will have a conference in a host city somewhere in Canada, and all municipalities are invited to attend. We also have our Alberta Municipalities Conference, which we are a member of because we are a small urban municipality. And these conferences are typically held annually, but there are also some other leadership conferences that are scheduled as well, where council members can go and attend. The annual conference, which is happening in just a few weeks, is one where council will be able to vote on resolutions because that convention and your membership includes advocacy on behalf of municipalities with the provincial government. And the final one is the RMA, which is the Rural Municipalities of Alberta Conference and Convention. And that one is also an Alberta one. That one has the same mandate as Alberta municipalities, but for rural municipalities. And it is generally agreed between both of the organizations that even if you are not a member of the organization, you are still welcome to attend. But you don't vote. So if a rural municipality attended the Alberta municipalities one, they wouldn't be voting, they would just be participating in the professional development and the networking opportunities. So the same would be for the Rural Municipalities of Alberta Convention. All of these council can choose if they would like to attend or not attend. They do happen annually, so a conversation as per our association's policy is we'll discuss this and see if council would like to attend. So there are opportunities every year to make a decision about which conferences council would like to attend.
Awesome. That was awesome. Okay. So we have that information. Did you move the screen up a bit? Sorry. Oh, sorry. At this time, I will invite council to make a motion.
Mayor Florence, I'll move that up to 3 members of council attend the 2026 Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference, June 4th to 7th in Edmonton, subject to budget approval.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to speak to that motion?
Yes, I was fortunate to attend the last FCM conference this year in Ottawa, and I felt it was a good value and a good opportunity for advocacy and networking. Being removed from Alberta, I have not seen how municipalities in other jurisdictions operate, so it's a valuable experience for me. However, having been to Edmonton many times, understanding how that jurisdiction works and seeing things there, I don't know if it would be as valuable, but again, it would be at a lower expense should we attend, because there would not be flights involved there. So I'm open to hearing from other members of council to see what their opinions are about this conference. I feel like there could be value, or maybe we wait till next year or something like that. But I'm open to either or.
Okay, thank you. Other members of council? Go ahead, Councilor Brew.
I'll speak on it. I appreciate the subject to budget approval in that. I think maybe it's something we look at with budget, and if it's something we can decide at that point. So I agree with that. Maybe it's only 1 member who goes or 2, and we look at that as we get closer to those dates or within months out, so we can make arrangements accordingly. But I think the budget needs to be considered for all of those things.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Hudson.
I guess my question, and obviously being new here and not attending any of these conferences yet, but while it would be cheaper to go to Edmonton for this conference than in some other locations, I would question if the attendance this year wouldn't be a lot of Alberta municipalities, because it is in 2026, the attendance would be a heavily Alberta jurisdiction anyways, because of the thought that it's closer, which means that we could actually attend the Alberta Municipalities Convention in Edmonton and have a very similar audience. And when I looked it up online, like this isn't 2026 numbers yet, but in 2025, the registration fee for FCM was almost double the registration for the provincial one. So I would question whether it would be more valuable this year, or wait to another year where maybe we would get more of the experience that Councillor Poetry had, where you learn something a little bit different than we would at our normal provincial conference.
Thank you. Councillor Stingley, did you want to speak to this at all?
Just an almost juxtaposition, the last comment there. To me, I'm seeing value for dollar when the conference is closer. And I don't want to needlessly, maybe needless isn't the right word, but I would hate to spend extra dollars flying across the country when those things can be done more locally. I wouldn't think that people from Ontario or New Brunswick or what have you aren't coming. I think they will come, maybe not in the same numbers, but they will be there for the benefit of us.
Thank you. And for myself, I see the value in going to conferences, but I think that value has to make sense for Coalhurst. And for FCM, I have a really hard time seeing the value for a community of our size with a price tag that high. And especially at this time with fundamentally new council and not knowing our strategic plan and priorities and how that work might align with that plan. For now. So that's my thoughts. Go ahead, Councillor Poetry.
Yeah, just something, I appreciate all the thoughtful considerations here that have been brought forward so far. And one other thing I want to also add, since we do have some new members of council here, it might actually be a great professional development opportunity as well. But if the content is you can get some really good experts presenting at these conferences, right? So that is where I might see more valuable in just this term in this province type of scenario. And so I think I will be in support of this. Of course, it's subject to budget approval. So.
Okay, thank you. Did anybody else want to speak to this a second time? Okay, and I didn't want to either. Councillor Poetry, did you want to close? Okay, so again, that motion is that Councillor Poetry moved that up to 3 members of council attend the 2026 Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference, the Canadian Municipalities Conference, June 4th to 7th in Edmonton, subject to budget approval. I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. Okay, at this time there's another motion. I will invite you to okay.
I move that the council attends the September 23rd to 25th, 2026 Alberta Municipalities Convention in Edmonton, subject to budget approval.
I said the wrong date, my last one, sorry. Okay, great, thank you. Would you like to speak to the motion?
I haven't been before myself, but I have spoken to past councillors who have been to this, and even current members on council who have attended this, and they do see value for this. I do see value in the sense that we actually have some voting rights in this kind of organization, as opposed to some other like rural municipalities of Alberta convention where we wouldn't. So I do see value in this conference.
Great, thank you. Would anybody else like to speak to this? Go ahead, Councillor Treat.
Thank you, Mayor Florence. I also see some value in there. Again, whether it's all council or a few members, what the budget looks like, I would support that.
Great, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Harrison.
Yes, and I agree. I like the subject to budget approval, which gives us an option once we look at budget and approve budget to determine what that looks like. And I think we'll have a really good idea in the next couple weeks when we go to it, what the value is. But like I mentioned before, the registration fees are half of the federal ones, so it seems to make sense for me that way.
Great, thank you. Councillor Boyer, did you want to speak to this?
Maybe just briefly, I support what's been said by the council members here, and I do kind of see lots of value from this conference, so I will be voting in favor.
Awesome, thank you. Did anybody want to speak to this a second time? And did you want to close it out? Close your motion, or do you want to be on second speaking time? Did you want to close?
No, I don't need to speak again on it, you'll have to direct me on how to close it, so.
Well, because you introduced the motion, technically, if everybody took their speaking time, so you really wanted to hammer in a closing, you would have that opportunity.
All right, well, I'll be voting for this.
Okay, that was excellent. Okay, again, that motion is that council attends the September 23rd to 25th, 2026 Alberta Municipalities Convention in Edmonton, subject to budget approval. I will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, and then we have one more motion up there.
I'll
Go
take
ahead.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I move that 2 members of council attend the March 16th through 18th, 2026 Rural Municipalities of Alberta Convention in Edmonton. Again, subject to budget approval.
Okay, so that motion has been made. Would you like to speak to it at all?
Same thing that we've all said, thank you. But same thing that we've been kind of saying for the other conventions. I think if we're gonna send 1 or 2 based on budget approval, that one, I know there's lots of debate whether this is more rural or how that benefits us. I think there's debate both sides, whether it's beneficial to see what the smaller municipalities are doing. So it might be a good opportunity for some more learning.
Okay, thank you. Did anybody else want to speak to this? Go ahead, Councillor Boyer.
I support that kind of argument from Councillor Creed that there could be some value there for us being more aligned with the population of a rural municipality potentially. The lack of advocacy voting is maybe just a small component that is not as important, but if it's only a couple members, I think we should consider it subject to vote approval, of course, at this time, and perhaps it might be a good idea to do some of our own inquiries, I guess, at this upcoming convention about how other municipalities feel about this. And so at this time, I would like to support it, being that we still have yet to approve our budget after the convention. So.
Great, thank you. Would any other members of council like to speak to this? For myself, I think you bring up an important point about the similarities between the counties and smaller municipalities. Obviously, you know, it's hard to compare apples to oranges, but I sometimes feel like we do have more similarities between the counties than we do somebody like Calgary or City of Lethbridge or City of Red Deer, right? And so in that way, they're dealing with similar issues and similar solutions. So I think that it's worthy of having a discussion about value in it. Obviously, we don't get to vote, but again, when I think about the comparison to resolutions at FCM and how broad and maybe watered down they are, like that's not the crux of it anyway. We get more out of it than just the resolutions and voting on them, and just deciding if that impact is worth the budgetary commitments. Anybody else? Okay, with that, again, that motion is that 2 members of council attend the March 16th to 18th, 2026 Rural Municipalities of Alberta Convention in Edmonton, subject to budget approval. I will call the question. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, next we will move on to number 6, which is correspondence. We have correspondence for information and for your reading pleasure. So unless somebody wants to pull out something in there and talk about it, we will consider it part of our meeting minutes. Great. We will move on then to adjournment. So we will adjourn our meeting at 7:53.